Infusion, another episode. Right, today is all about plantain puff. I said puff. Right. I've got baking yeast here, and this is 2 times 7 grams of baking yeast. Okay, just over a tablespoon and a half. I've also got very ripe plantain. This is how your plantain needs to be if you're making plantain puff. I've got 250 grams of self-raising flour, which I've got here. I love to use self-raising flour and still use yeast at the same time. I've also got sugar there, about 50 grams of sugar. I'm going to add a little bit of allspice just to jazz it up. And what I've got here is water. It is very important that when you're preparing puff, your water needs to be in the right temperature. So I'm going to start my thermometer up. I want the water to be at least the maximum of 50 centigrade. It's 49, it's 50. That is how your hot water should be for puff or plantain puff. It needs to be at least, the max should be 50 to 51 centigrade. So let's get cracking. Let's say you see it properly. First thing, the first thing I'm going to do before doing any other thing is activating the yeast. You pour the yeast into a bowl, and I'm going to take some of the sugar from the puff and just add it on top. I don't want a lot, I just need a little bit. You can do this separately, it's up to you, but for some reason I've decided to do it this way. Don't mind me. Add a little bit of water into the yeast. This is all the water we'll be needing for the whole of the puff. You stir, and once you stir, all you need to do is then place it either in the microwave or in a warm place. The weather is quite cold at the moment here in the United Kingdom, so what I'm going to do is place it in the microwave for it to activate. This needs about 3 to 5 minutes to activate, depending on how good your water, or how warm, when I say good, when I mean warm, sorry, how warm your water was, then you should not have any problem with it rising as soon as possible. So while the yeast is activating, we're going to get on with our plantain. It is extremely important that your plantain is very ripe. There's no use using underripe plantain, because then it's not really plantain puff, because you want it to sort of flavor the mix. That's the reason why I'm using less sugar instead of using too many sugar, because once the plantain gets ripe, it becomes extremely sweetened. And with me, I don't over mash my plantain. I just mash it just a reasonable amount, because I still want to have that taste of plantain inside. So what I do is give it a good mash. This is what the plantain will look like. You can blend yours in the blender or in the food processor, but this is how I like mine, because I still want bits of plantain inside of it. Let us go check on our yeast now. Be back in a few. So here I have the yeast, and inside the yeast I'm gonna pour our flour into the yeast. The flour and the sugar mixed into the yeast. You can add a little bit of salt as well. The great thing about this is that you can fry the puff straight away, but I do not fry straight away. I always leave in the microwave or in a warm place for a few more minutes for it to rise. Then I add the remaining water. At this moment, you can add peppers if you want, like scotch burnett, you want it spicy. You can add a bit of scotch burnett, nutmeg, but I'm adding a little bit of allspice just to give it a little bit of kick. The thing is, the more water you add, if you add in too much water, you're gonna end up with runny batter. I don't want it to be runny. I want it, when I fry it, it should come out very, very boily. The thing is, when you see a lot of puff puff and puff puff, you see they've soaked up oil. That's because there's too much water inside. They've added too much sugar, or they've not allowed it to rise properly. So it's important that you give it a good stir and you don't overindulge on the water. I'm gonna leave mine like this because I wanted this consistency and with this texture also of the plantain inside. I wouldn't recommend you add any more water. We're gonna leave this now to rise for another 45 minutes or so before I fry. Like I said earlier, you can fry straight away, but I wouldn't recommend you frying it straight away, because just give it time for it to, for the air to rise within it, for the yeast to work its magic. The reason I put yeast in self-raising is just to give it that extra bounciness, that extra firmness. That is the reason I put it. It's like bread. You know, when you bake bread, there's yeast in bread. You push it down, it bounces up. It's the process. So allow the yeast do its magic before you start frying. I'm gonna clean fill this now, then put it straight into the microwave. Do not switch on the microwave. If you're in a rush, then you can obviously do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off on the microwave for like 2 minutes. 30 minutes stop, 30 minutes 30 seconds stop, 30 seconds stop, 30 seconds stop, 30 seconds stop. But if you're not in a rush, just leave it like that. I've shown people on Instagram how to do this, and my Instagram handle is like awesome dishes. Awesome dishes. On Twitter is awesome dishes with an extra S. On Snapchat is awesome dishes also, and our website is www.nigerinfusions.com, all one word, nigerinfusions.com. I'll see you guys in a little while. I've got the plantain butter mix, puff butter mix. We're gonna start frying now. I always recommend that you fry with oil that you've already used in frying plantain. I've used this oil in frying plantain, that's why it looks like this. It's really nice when you fry it with it because it infuses the taste of the puff puff. It will make the puff puff taste even more nicer rather than using fresh oil. If I'm making the other type of puff puff, I 100% use fresh oil, but for plantain puff puff I always stick with oil that I've used in frying plantain. Frying, I take a bit of the puff puff mix. You see, earlier when I was mixing it, it looked as if it was quite thick, but the fact of the matter was it wasn't thick. Once you allow the yeast to work its magic, what it does is make it the batter lighter. That is the reason you must never add too much water, and your oil must be very hot as well, extremely hot, at least 170 degrees centigrade. I just needed to adjust mine there a bit. I scoop with my hand and use my other side of my hand too. We all have various way of dropping the puff puff into the oil. This is just my own way of dropping the puff puff into the oil, and that's what happens. It bounces up. That's what I'm telling you guys about. So don't go and add too much water, and don't over add too much butter into the fryer as well. You just scrape all the sides down, ready for the next one. Give it a good toss. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Apart from the nipples, this ones I've got. You need to keep doing is giving it a good wiggle, because you want it to cook evenly. You said the reason I said don't over blend your plantain is because you want to see the sign of the plantain inside, the goldiness of the plantain inside. Kids love this so much. And for this batter, we'll just continue frying all of them till really golden. Gradually they start to turn very golden. This is how I want my puff to be like. My plantain puff, my regular puff. This is how I want it. I don't want it looking flat chested at all. It always has to be round and golden, voluptuous. Curvy. That's the word. Remember, you can find me on Instagram, Awesome Dishes. On Twitter, Awesome Dishes with extra S. On Snapchat, Awesome Dishes. My website is naijainfusions.com. Naija is spelled NAIJAINFUSIONS.com. You can always reach me by email, info@naijainfusions.com. We are a catering company based here in the United Kingdom, Battersea. So feel free to send us an email for your catering, for your party food, events, your home cooking. We do all of it. On our website, we've got thousands of words of information for you guys. This is done, so I'm gonna let the oil settle out of. Look at how golden that is. That is so yummy-licious. It looks so good. Various information on our website. If anything you don't understand, just drop me an email and I will respond to you. So I'm gonna drain this and then fry the next batch. I'm now frying the next batch. Oh, my son is already picking the puff out already. Listen, he loves plantain puff like any other. You should get at least 20 or more, depending on how you scoop. You should get a good amount of puff out. I've got one left. I'm gonna be very naughty. I shouldn't, but I'm being naughty. I'm being naughty. I shouldn't, but I'm being naughty. Let's give that a good way. Wash my hand and we'll be back. What I do is just do the same thing I did with the previous one, which was just wiggling about. This was the one we made earlier. My son has taken one out of it already. This is how your puff should be. Look at that. That is so beautiful. I'm going to split this one open for you guys to see inside. Look at that. The moistness inside is absolutely wonderful. Effortless. Can you see the traces of the plantain inside? That is how your plantain puff should be. Super yummy, super tender, airy on the inside. It's all about the air inside the plantain. Inside the puff. Sorry, not the plantain. The puff. Remember, you can place your order via our website, naijainfusions.com. Sorry, I have to do advertisement. Otherwise, these bills, they don't pay themselves, you know. Alright, so I'm just going to keep frying. Larry, another one again? Okay, go on then. Go on, Daddy. You want to have another puff again? How many do you want to eat now? That's the second one. You want to take another one? That'll be the third one. I told you, kids love puff. At least you will allow me to take a picture before you finish eating everything, isn't it? You can take it if you want. But once I need to take a picture before you take another one again. Otherwise, I won't have any picture to take. Is it nice? Do you know how the puff keeps disappearing? Keeps disappearing. Look at that. That's what we've got left. Keeps disappearing. Somebody else is taking another now. If you put your hand, I'll give you a knock. I have to restrict them. Otherwise, I won't get a picture for Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Oh, I love the vein on that. Look at that. Nice. This is ready. Time to take a picture. Snap, snap. Click, 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 click. Someone has taken more again. We'll put that there. Then we can take our picture.